This podcast is a conversation by Julie Benetti and Susan Barbaro and is a production of VI Alliance, copyright 2019. And this chart-busting hit, Alone Leave Me, courtesy of New Threads, is available everywhere.
Hi, this is Susan Barbaro. It is a Saturday afternoon, and I'm sitting here with Julie Benetti after a glass of wine, one glass, and we decided that we're going to be a little bit, this podcast is going to be a little bit more raw. It's going to be a little bit more if you were sitting right here with us with a glass of wine, as many people have done. And part of that is we have a freaking blast laughing. We talk about business, right? And, go ahead.
So you're so funny. Go ahead.
I know she's ready. She's ready to go. Go ahead. Give him a left. I'll come in for the right.
Sucker punch. Boom. So we're talking about the energy of business, and this comes from, we have a lot of funny anecdotes, and we'll be publishing some of them soon. I don't know what to say. Anyway, we're publishing a lot of things really soon.
And so if you hear anything in the background, it's the ice cream truck. Yeah, that's I'm ready to run out and grab a freaking Nutty Buddy.
Okay, I'm not going to touch that one. So anyway, in the energy of business, we came across some very interesting and formidable concepts related to the ideologies of business. Now that sounded pretty serious because you're laughing your head off because in the background is the ice cream truck theme running along, and of course I've
never heard it this close to my house before. It was like it was destined to play.
Well, actually, this is how we work with energy, and we're going to utilize that in the energy of business because it is getting our attention.
It certainly is.
It's getting your attention.
It is. I'm trying really hard not to laugh. It's a good thing I'm far enough away from the mic.
I'm tempted to pull out a $5 bill or a $10 bill and see what I can get out there.
So the reason, actually, I look at that and I think it's kind of funny. It's like a joke. Mm-hmm. It's like a joke. Because so I'm just going to say this. Let's start it off with this. So Julie and I went on a book tour when we finished putting together our book, Energetic Invocations, and we went on a little, book signing tour. And so we went up and we went to these small bookstores and we figured, we try to be supportive. We try to help, instead of going to the big, not the Barnes and Noble or was knocking at our door, but we said, let's go to some of these small bookstores. Well, let me tell you, some of these people are freaking crazy. We had one, and I just have to tell this one story. So we went and put our books in a bunch of different stores, and we didn't get paid. And we said we did it on a consignment basis. We said when you sell them, we worked out the deal, but we said pay us when you sell them because we were trying to be supportive. If you still hear the music, still in the background. So, anyways. So my daughter and I, there was one bookstore, there's a few of them, but there's one in particular that every time we called them, they kept saying, your books are here. So I happened to be up in this area with my daughter, and I said, let's go in. I want to see our books. We went in and we searched high and low. No book there. None! Not one!
And these are tiny little stores. Let's preface it. You're not looking at 3 floors or 4 floors of a Barnes & Noble that's stacked with books. You're looking at a small, and it's not really an independent bookstore. I don't know what it was.
So we go in there, and my daughter looks at me. She's like, Mom, the book's not here. I'm like, okay, well, let's just ask. So we went and I asked the person, do you have this book? Wait a minute. Well, that's been over 365 days. I'm like, it's not here. Well, let me go see. She couldn't find. We gave them 3 books. She couldn't find them. Well, I don't know what to say. I said, I want our freaking money. I said, you sold this book before you even put it in your system. And you know something? They couldn't find it. The books were gone.
They were sold.
They were sold. Right. Of course they were sold. Right. And so I came back and I said to Julie, I'm like, we've sold out everywhere. Every place we put our book, nobody, and again, nobody can find it. So, of course, in my anger, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people? They sold out. You pay your bill, order more, and if you don't want to order more, keep ordering Wayne Dyer's books that you're selling at full price.
So there's a little...
When there is, you could buy them online for $2.
There's a little context to that, because we went to a local bookstore, and the local bookstore had sold out of our books, and we had given them a generous handful of books on consignment, and they were, they paid and they did what they had to do and they fulfilled the relationship, yet they were not interested. This is what we heard: we're not interested in ordering anymore because I don't want to go through the trouble of filling out the form of buying any more. And so I said, okay, that's no problem. It's their business. They decide what to do. And as we walked out of the bookstore, it's full of books
that are old and dusty. And I'm not saying these books, and when I said about Wayne Dyer, I'm not saying anything about his books, but you can buy his books online for like $2-3 at this point. She's got them there. 5, 6, 7 of them. They're loaded with dust and they're at full price. I'm like, hello?
And so from the standpoint of your reaction, more of the context from the bookseller is that the bookseller was determined not to do anything that day. That's what I considered. And she sat there and she said, well, I really don't want to get out the form to order anymore. And I wasn't being an active seller because I wasn't sure if our book wanted to be there, because, we talk about energy and our book has an energy, and I wasn't sure about that because I found it fascinating. And wouldn't you find it fascinating? And anyone who has operated a business, if you carry a book that sells, don't you want to carry that book so it will sell?
So I have to interject in that one of the booksellers had a sign outside of their shop that said, please buy local. We're trying to survive. Amazon's taking all our sales. Please consider making a donation.
And so instead of ascertaining the books that sell and carrying more of them, even if they're odd and they're from self-publishers or indie publishers or local publishers or, Joe Schmo down the street, if it's selling, wouldn't you think from a business acumen standpoint, that person in the business who's trying to run a business sufficiently would want more of what's selling? And this is where our question lied, because the question being, to run a successful business, if you're selling things, wouldn't you want to sell more of what was selling?
Call me crazy, but that is the way you make money.
Exactly. And so if someone who's running a business is not doing that, yet they're struggling to run the business, the question becomes, why are they running a business? And so that started us down the route, because you also do this wonderful rendition with this, because it's almost like a pattern response where you can check, that all these things equate and the person isn't being successful in their business. And so this pattern response related to charity, and you had a wonderful explanation of charity, which is in our Energetic Invocations book. In relation to the business situation, the basic tenet is if something sells, you want more of it because you're trying to pay your rent.
Call me crazy now. I am a CPA and I have gone to business school. Call me crazy, but usually you make money when you carry stock that sells.
Right. And so the fascinating thing about this, because we're into energy, was, so what's this all about?
Right.
And we realized that the bookseller is a bookseller because they have to learn how to be a bookseller.
Exactly. And that actually has permeated into everything we see.
Every
Everything.
occupation. So anyone being something is doing that because they have to learn how to do that. And that's quite fascinating. And I utilize that against myself all the time. And I wonder, okay, am I writing because I need to learn how to write? Maybe.
Well, I mean, it depends, not to sit there and say that we're perfect, because, well, no, we're not perfect, but, well, damn close. But, no, anyways, it's because you're there to learn something. And the sad part is there's a lot of things that we've seen of people doing whatever it is they do, and they do it really poorly, and like, huh? And we always say they're doing that because they need to learn how to do it. You would think the expert is doing what they do because they know the best. Well, that hasn't been proven. What we tend to see is the expert is doing what they're doing because they need to learn how to do it.
And this, my folks, is revolutionary to even come to that concept, because when you start to understand that, and again, I'll say it's beautifully represented in words. When and you and I sat together and discussed charity in our book, Energetic Invocations, a book of vibrational change. And to wrap your head around that concept, I mean, you really have to absorb that. And we can explain to you that wouldn't it make sense if a shop is selling something? I mean, how many times do you go into a store and they're sold out of something? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you think they would make it an issue to keep the health and vitality of their shop in business, to continue selling that item you want?
That would be a smart business or a business owner who actually wants to make money, who wants to pay their own bills, who wants to stay in business to continue to grow and actually provide books. That would be someone who wants to provide books, provide whatever it is that they're offering.
Right. And this,
not these Goombas that we've met up with.
Right.
And they, I know I said it, they are Goombas.
Right. And,
they make no sense at all.
No, they don't. And, the funny thing about that is, at this point in time, it's irrelevant whether they make sense or not, because they're doing what they need to do to try and understand what they need to do. And they're doing it poorly.
And so a consumer who walks into a situation, if you have that knowledge, you have to look at things a lot differently. I mean, we say it because we're always like, what just happened?
Well, I'll take it to, any time over Christmas or the holidays when there's that one toy item that goes like wildfire that every kid wants to have, and every parent goes out there, and every aunt and uncle and cousin and friend and tries to find it for them, and they didn't have enough supply for the demand. And you would think, okay, great, sure, it's a roll of the dice.
Do you remember the time we went to a book talk, and they came in, and there was hundreds of people, and they had 4 books for sale. It was like, what are you thinking?
And it was advertised as a book talk.
Yeah.
It was noted, and the event was noted, that this is a conversation about this author's book.
And why? And so one would ask, why are you doing that? Right. And I'm not asking let's badmouth people. I, of course, because I look at Julie and I say, let's go to the energy of it. Why would they do that?
And, I take it from two parts, because I take it from 2 angles, I would like to say, because I take it from the angle where, it's hugely frustrating to go in there and think, hello, our book is selling, so no, I don't want to take out the piece of paper, and my daughter's going to do that. I'm not interested in getting involved.
Come back, maybe my daughter will be here. Yeah.
So that's one angle, and the other angle is, someone comes in there and they want to buy something. Now, I go in somewhere and I want to buy something and it's not there. I'm going to go somewhere else.
So the purpose of this is to really look at who you are and what you do and why you're doing it. And if you're doing it because you need to learn something, freaking learn it.
Right.
Get it. Understand it. And say, let me do this better. Or get out of it. Or get out of it. And you know what? And when we talk about certain things, if you're going to sit there, we're going to talk about the bookseller. If you're doing it because you have to learn how to sell books, get out of it. If you're learning it because you're propelling and you're moving stuff, well, go girl.
Thank you for listening to this production from EI Alliance. Check out our Amazon authors pages for books and podcasts. Find New Threads music and their latest album on iTunes, Spotify, and newthreads.us.